camp's all about just educating all our new players, all the rookies, so to speak. It's the first year and second year of the first professional contract. The day centred around giving them advice, workshops, speaking to past and present players around their whole person well-being. So it's embedded in the well-being calendar throughout the game, and it's a day that we always look forward to. It's really exciting for young players to be engaged in the first team environment, certainly for the first time. They've got a lot of support at the clubs. We're really lucky that they've got some fantastic head coaches, some outstanding heads of youth, player welfare managers embedded in the clubs. Certainly help the players both on and off the field. But it can be difficult. It can have its challenges. It's exciting. There's a lot of things that a player has to look at. Physical well-being, financial well-being, the psychological aspect of being a top professional. So today's all about giving the players some coping strategies, some advice around making sure that they reach their full potential.
A job is something you put your CV in for. A job is something that you look in the newspaper or you're online. There's a job vacancy, I'll put my name in for that. What you've all got the opportunity of, you've not got an opportunity at a job. It's not a dream job, it's just a dream. When you're a kid, you dream of being a rugby player. You don't say that'd be a nice job. It's not a job what you've got, so people will say, is that your dream job? If they do say it's not a job, it's just a dream. And I think that's the way I look at it. I'm 34 and I've only just realised that I was offended last night when my missus said dream job.
Yeah, it's been a real good experience for firstly the rookies, but for the other guys, the retired guys like me. It's a privilege to be able to speak to the next generation and hopefully give them a few tips and bits of advice to make sure they fulfil the potential. We just had to learn it on the job, a little bit more rough and ready than it is today. But these guys will learn the same lessons and gain the same values as what we did. It's just done in a different way. But yeah, it's a much more structured way of learning, I think. And as the game progresses and becomes more and more professional, I think it's important that they have the days to have these workshops and get full understanding and full knowledge of some of the issues they might come across in the next 10-15 years.
I'd say in my career, early on in my career, I was very cocky, very cocksure of myself. A bit of arrogance, a bit of confidence. If I'm honest, whatever it is, I just, rugby was my thing. But when I went to Saints, it blew my legs off. I remember being lazy in defence. Keith used to have a good time running at me. Jamie used to have a good time spotting me up on the edge. They used to come at me all game, try and wear me out in defence, which would work a lot of time.
Yeah, I look around at these boys and I think that they probably feel as though they've got a real long future in front of them, but I don't think for me, somebody like me who's been there and lived it goes in a flash, and such an enjoyable and exciting time for these young lads that are right at the very start of the career. So yeah, it's exciting times for me. It's nice to brush shoulders with them a little bit. I think everything that happens to you during your life, it shapes you to be the person you are today. You've got to overcome adversity to get where you are today. I probably wish I'd have listened a little bit more to my dad probably, and maybe done things a little bit differently, but it shapes you to who you are today. So I'm enjoying my career. I'm very lucky and privileged to have a long, successful career that was always my dream from being a young boy. So there's no regrets.
And that'd be my biggest advice. It's like don't be scared to ask a question. And I always felt like the best questions I asked were on the training field. When I first come into the first team environment, I was a back rower. I ended up playing one Super League game, my debut at back row, and then the rest of my 300 games at front row. I got quickly moved into the front row. But yeah, when I was on the training park and I'd pull aside, play Newton Bengalia, just ask them questions, be a sponge. The advice, they were just there with open arms, and I'm sure you've got them senior players in your teams now.
If you have good sleep, good routines, your body will heal better. You actually grow taller because that's when you release the hormones that make you grow. You repair better. But your physical, mental and emotional performance is higher. How are we after a night of not sleeping? Tired, irritable, make mistakes, not coordinated. Injury rate goes up.
Wow, did I play with some real megastars in them 22 years, and I was fortunate to survive with them. Not least because we had one guy who I'd refer to as the greatest leader and cultural architect I've ever come across in my life. And I reckon he's probably about 32 minutes into his 6th marathon this week, running for MND and our old brother and comrade in Loughborough and all, another talented superstar, very different, on a different gift and an identity, raising money and awareness for him and an MND community. And what Kevin Sinfield did, right, he had this bus, to quote Jim Collins, this bus had a direction. It was ultimately Old Trafford or a Wembley, a final, somewhere where you could win and achieve things. Sam mentioned earlier that it became a habit, and it became a habit of the highs and the lows, understanding what worked, what didn't, the success and the failure, to quote Rudyard Kipling, treat triumph and disaster just the same. Whether you win or lose is almost irrelevant the next day. It's how you get out of bed and use either experience. Try to be that 1% better each day.
Basically, we're just here to share our experiences, really, and sort of share our experiences, what a lot of the research shows around sort of character strengths and how that can enhance their career and give them the best opportunities to succeed, really, to make it into a Super League player.
Yeah, it's been really good, and obviously all the lads have been really well behaved and listened. But we were just speaking earlier. Between us is probably nearly 900 Super League games, and we've picked up a lot along the way from whether it's from players, past players, coaches, and we feel like we've got a little bit to offer him through our experiences. So to be able to, we're not here to keep it a secret. We're happy to offload some of that, and hopefully some of them it'll be impactful for one or two of them.
So Sarah has got the guys in the kitchen doing some work around. We're doing some rice krispies today, just getting them working in the kitchen and getting them used to using the utensils and just getting comfortable in the kitchen. It's a really good exercise. The boys have adapted really well to it and they're getting stuck in. It's been a really, really good concept and it's going well today.
Any outstanding creations so far?
There has been. You can have a look over here. If you come over and have a quick look, we've got all the boys' finished products in there, which we're going to be later on today. So, been a really good workshop for the boys today. They've all bought into it. It's been outstanding and lots of fun to go along with it.
I'm Dan, account director at IMG, working on the digital transformation of Rugby League.
I'm Nathan, I'm athlete content manager, also working on the digital transformation of Rugby League.
We've had 4 super engaged groups and we really feel like we've got a message across, and they're a bit quiet, but I think you warm them up and you start to ask them about examples and they can really sort of get into it and talk about some of the themes we've been discussing.
Yeah, it's been great to have the ex-players come in as well and talk to the guys, because they've really been able to give that sort of real-world experience and just back up a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about in our presentations.
The session today is about effective communication, how our body language, our behaviours can certainly influence those around us, and just to be mindful of that moving forward in our careers. If this was around in my day, I think it would have been absolutely fantastic. I don't think we had PowerPoint presentations back in my day, to be honest. But just listening to some of the lessons, and you wish you could go back and do it all again, but at the same time being grateful to hopefully impart some of the wisdom onto the younger generation. So no, definitely amazing concept.
I came to the first one last year. It's great to see it go around again for the second year. And I think that the clue is in the name. Rugby League Cares are putting on a fantastic event, and it's care for the young professionals coming into the game. That's hugely important to us as a sport, and I think this is where it starts for them. I think we've had some conversations this morning. We've had some very successful ex-players who have talked to us about their journey and their career through the sport. And I think the wraparound that the sport gives its professionals and those that play, and the care for those that play, is very important. And I think we need to display that to these young men that are coming into the sport this year and came into sport last year. Some of these are doing this the second time around. So that's massively important to us, hence why we're all here today. It's quite humbling to sit in a room like that and think that either in an Ashes tour, maybe in a year or two's time, or a World Cup in either 4 or 8 years' time, that you might be sat next to a future, you probably are sat next to future England internationals or Great Britain internationals, and that's a really nice feeling. Even at even here this morning, to think that you might be playing a tiny part in the progression of those young men is very humbling, and it's a great room to spend a bit of time in.